This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as my voice cracks here on Saturday morning, October the 18th, 2025, this is the Dr. Sem Yankees Show, and it is also the Start Spreading the News Yankees Show. The Dr. Sem Show airs Saturday mornings on all of those networks and channels that you saw on the beginning. And the Dr. Sem Show, actually, that's the Dr. Sem Show. And the Start Spreading the News Show airs on Monday nights at 9 p.m., also on all those various networks. As I explained a number of weeks ago, I went back to working full-time as an interim principal, and along with teaching 2 college classes that meet 2 nights a week, and along with having 3 books, all that should come out in 2026 that are all at deadline, and there's lots of meetings and writing and discussions for each, along with my other many responsibilities, has made it impossible for me to record 2 different shows while also maintaining the wonderful Yankee site, Start Spreading the News, and doing all the other things I need to do and work full-time. And again, on Monday nights and Thursday nights, I'm working more than full-time. I'm working from basically 7:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night with nary a break, which is all good. It is great to be busy. It's great to be good, but I don't have time right now to record 2 shows. So for a few months, the Dr. Sem Show and the Start Spreading the News Show are going to be one and the same. Dr. E.J. Fagan is always part of the, or mostly, almost exclusively, part of the Start Spreading the News Show. Right now, because my schedule is so difficult to figure out, I'm recording this on a Friday evening, it became impossible or very difficult, too challenging for me to try to coordinate this with EJ. So we might get some episodes with EJ, but right now, as I'm trying to get into the flow and into the stream of things, it will just be me. And thankfully, there is a ton of Yankee news to discuss. But before we get to all of that, my dear friends, let's make today a great day. And how do you make your day great? It's simple. You look around, you find the good. Now, some people might go, oh my goodness, I'm so busy. There is no good. My life's going crazy. No, that's good. That is good. People want you to work. People need you to help them through difficult times. They value your expertise and your knowledge and your skills. Those are good things. People often talk about being busy as if it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. In many ways, it's a great thing Because if you remove yourself just one step from the frenetic pace, you realize how important you are in the lives of others, how much you mean to them. And that's a great thing. But how do you make your day great? Just like I said, you look for the good, you find the good, you cherish it. And when you notice and cherish the good, you almost can't help but have a great day. There is so much good out there. Notice it, cherish it, and you're going to have a great day. But that's good. That's really good. It's great to be positive, but take that goodness as well and share it. Give it to others. As I've told you for years on these shows, when you give love, it will come back to you in greater amounts than you ever gave. Now, does that mean everyone's going to love you? No, it does not. If you give kindness, it will come back to you in greater amounts than you ever gave. Does that mean everyone else will be kind to you? Of course not. But we don't live our lives looking at the negative people who look to bring us down or are having their own difficulties. We look to the greater good and the greater kindness. And those things are well worth investing our times and our energies. And when we do that, we'll have great days. But enough about all of that. Let's talk about the Yankees. My goodness. I have not been able to share my thoughts on the Yankees season coming to an end. The Yankees were able to defeat the Red Sox in the wild card series. And then they played the Blue Jays in the division series, and it was a disaster. Now, I didn't see most of the games, and I will make a confession here, and I'll write it on the blog. Listen, some people say, like, well, you're not a real Yankee fan if you feel that way. How can you feel that way? That's ridiculous. A real Yankee fan wouldn't feel that way. Well, I like when other people tell me how I should be a fan. No one can tell anyone how they should be a fan. We root for teams the way we root for teams. There's no prescription on how to root for a team. I remember listening to the radio, WFAN or ESPN radio, and some announcers were ridiculing a caller who called in at one point, and he said, I root for the Jets and the Giants. I'm a big fan of both teams. I'm like, you can't be. You can't be a fan of both teams. That's impossible. Well, why not? If you like the Jets, you have to hate the Giants. You can't root for the Devils and the Rangers. Well, why not? Yes, you can. If that's what you want to do. If you would like to root for the Yankees and the Mets, sure you can. Maybe when they get to the World Series, it becomes a challenge if they're facing each other. You have to maybe try to split your loyalties, or you just say, I'm so happy both of my teams are in. I'm going to just enjoy the games for what they are. Great baseball. It's the World Series. Of course, I don't think we really have to worry too much about the Yankees and the Mets being in the World Series right now. Definitely not this year. But as a lifelong Yankee fan since 1977, a person who has written books with a Yankee, Roy White, and who has written other books about the Yankees, including one, The Greatest New York Yankees by Uniform Number, coming out in February, and the award-winning The Least Among Them. And as someone who's run a daily Yankee site since 2017, invested untold hundreds, thousands of hours writing articles, editing articles, engaging with readers for now getting close to a decade. And someone who's read virtually every book about the Yankees that's come out. I mean, I'm exaggerating there, but I've read gazillions of books about the Yankees, been to Yankee Stadium countless times, have tons of Yankees memorabilia. Like, no one can say, well, you're not a Yankee fan if you feel that way, though some will try. But you cannot tell me how to be a Yankees fan. I'm disappointed the Yankees lost to the Blue Jays. I am very disappointed. I want the Yankees to win the World Series, but I'm also relieved the Yankees lost. That's a person who is a diehard Yankee fan. My Yankee fandom part of my life doesn't want the Yankees to lose. I wish they were in the World Series coming up. But for my personal life, the fact that I'm waking up before 4 a.m. to do everything I need to do every day and to be the very best I can be in my professional lives, yeah, that part of me is very happy that I don't have to stay up late watching baseball games. My schedule is more than full right now. I don't know how I'd fit in a few hours of Yankees baseball to watch these playoff games and then the World Series. I wish the Yankees were in it. Yes. Am I relieved that they're not? Yes. The Yankee side of me is not happy. The side that says, you know what? You're almost 60 years old. You're not a young man anymore. And you really should think about your health and your well-being, and you need a certain amount of hours of sleep every night. That part of me is somewhat relieved. If that doesn't make me a Yankee fan, well, that's your problem. That's not my problem. I am a Yankees fan, and I'm also somewhat relieved that they're out of it, so I can go to sleep and do what I need to do. But that being said, the Yankee part of me is frustrated and angry and disappointed. Brian Cashman, who I have said many times has been a very good general manager, and who I have said many times has been a great general manager, and who I have said many times belongs in Monument Park, is no longer a great general manager. That's just a fact. The fact is he's no longer a great general manager. For the New York Yankees, the objective for the fans, now let me break this down into just a little bit here. If the primary purpose of the Yankees is to put a competitive team on the field so that the Yankees compete well all season long and compete for a chance to get into and then in the playoffs, yeah, then Brian Cashman's doing an outstanding job, because that happens almost every year. The Yankees haven't had a losing season since, 1992 or 1991 or something like that. That record of 500 or better seasons is fantastic. And if the objective of the general manager is to make money for the Yankees, well, Brian Cashman's an outstanding general manager, because the Yankees make money hand over fist all the time. Every year, they're the most valuable franchise when Forbes does their annual valuations of the franchises. But if the objective for the Yankees is to win the World Series, and the objective for the Yankees should be to win the World Series, not just to be competitive, not to just make the playoffs, but the objective for the Yankees. We're not talking about the Mets now. We're not talking about the Red Sox. We're not talking about the Orioles or the Brewers or the Nationals. We're not talking about the Padres or the Diamondbacks or the Cincinnati Reds or the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Detroit Tigers or the Toronto Blue Jays. For those clubs, competing most often is all their fans expect and want. But for the Yankees, singularly, And now maybe the Dodgers, who have become the modern Yankees, I've argued that for years too, that the Dodgers follow the old Yankee ideas of just getting the best, greatest players as often and as much as they can and paying them tons of money to put your team in the best position to win the World Series. So exempting maybe the Dodgers, for the New York Yankees singularly, the objective must and always should be to win the World Series. That's what Yankee fans expect. That's the brand the Yankees sell. The Yankees market themselves as the greatest franchise in sports, let alone baseball. The Yankees market themselves as the World Series winners more times than anyone else. And if that's your objective, it is unequivocal. It is absolutely, it is 100% fact that Brian Cashman is not doing a good job, because the evidence is the Yankees do not win World Series. They don't win them. They simply do not. They did not win the World Series in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They did not win the World Series in 2021, 22, 23, 24, or 25. That is a long period. If the objective, the true objective, is to win the World Series, if that is the objective, that's a long history of failure, because in every one of those years, the Yankees have failed to win the World Series, while at the same time having one of the highest payrolls in the sport. That's just not a record of success. And most fans, when they talk about the Yankees' lack of World Series championships, always say they haven't won a World Series since 2009. Which is correct. And I just read off all those years they haven't won. That's a long history of failure. But that's not the worst of it. It's not just that they haven't won over the last 15 years. It's that 2009 World Championship is the only one they've had since the turn of the century, 25 years. The Yankees won the World Series in 2000. Now, you want to say that that's part of the century of the 2000s? Okay, the 1900s and the 2000s. Mathematicians might argue that the year 2000 was the last year of the 20th century, and now we're in the 21st century. But even if you take the 2000s and give that 2000 World Series to this century, the Yankees also didn't win the World Series in 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, or 08. From 2001 to 2025, the greatest franchise in the game, the one that sells itself, the one that markets itself to everyone and to their fans, and who charge exorbitant amounts of money to be the fan of these teams, or of this team, has won one World Series. And there's been only one, there's been only one constant that entire time. And that person's name is Brian Cashman. It is clear, it is abundantly clear that whatever approach he's taking isn't working. One World Series since 2001 is not a record of success. Now, some people would say, well, the Oakland A's or whatever they are, the Las Vegas A's now, who are they? Like for them, they would kill for that. They would love that. Okay, but we're not the A's. The Pittsburgh Pirates would love to have one World Series in 25 years. That's great. We're not the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is the Yankees, and it's not good enough. Cold stop, period. It's not good enough. Not for Yankee fans. So while the personal side of me is very happy the Yankees are not in the playoffs this year, I don't think I have another moment to be awake every single day. The other night I went to bed at 9 p.m. The minute my head hit the pillow, I was asleep. Then I was up at like 4:10. So I had so much to do. I slept in that day. The previous day I was up at 3:30. Previous day from that I was up at 3:15. Again, I'm not complaining. This is what I do. This is how I do it. I've got to get everything done, and I will give everything my best efforts. But I didn't have 3 or 4 hours to invest in the Yankees right now every night, watching nail-biting, gripping playoff games deep into the evenings. And then, being excited and disappointed and all the emotions that go with that. This year, I just didn't have it in me. I didn't. That side of me is relieved the Yankees lost. But the Yankee side of me is very frustrated, as you can see and as you can hear and as you'll see in my writings. One World Series in all this time for the Yankees, for the New York Yankees, is just not acceptable. It's just not. And if you are the Yankees owner and the brain trust and the investors and all that, it's got to be time you bring Brian Cashman in and you say, the goal has to be a World Series championship, and you cannot seem to deliver that. And I know some people would say, well, if the Yankees fired Brian Cashman, and I'm not saying to fire him, maybe you could move him to a different position. Maybe he could be a senior advisor, but he shouldn't be the guy running the team as the general manager if the objective is to win the World Series, which is what the Yankees tell us it is. See, this whole argument could go away very simply. This entire argument could go away in an instant. It could just go away. If the Yankees themselves said, our objective is to be very good, our objective is to compete for the playoffs and then hopefully win them all and possibly win a World Series, because anything can happen in a short series or in a series of short series. That's all our objective is. We do not intend to put the very best team out there. Rather, we intend to put a very competitive team out there who, if everything goes right, just might win the World Series. If the Yankees say that, then Brian Cashman's doing a fantastic job. And if the Yankees say, again, to be very repetitive, if the Yankees say our objective is to make gazillions of dollars every year, that's more important than winning the World Series to us. If they would say that, again, Brian Cashman is doing an outstanding job. Keep him. But if you're going to sell the fans on this idea that the Yankees are supposed to be winning the World Series often, if not always, and of course it's never always, but you get the point, then Brian Cashman's not doing a great job. The evidence is abundantly clear. It can't be more clear. I just went through it. One World Series since 2001 is just not good enough if the objective is to win the World Series. So if the Yankees' objective is to win the World Series, they need to do something regarding Brian Cashman's running of the club. You could promote him to a position where he doesn't necessarily have the day-to-day influence on the player acquisitions. You could tell him that he has to change his approach. There's so much talk about the Yankees' over-reliance on bad analytics. That's the other point people don't mention. They say the Yankees rely on analytics. Well, every team relies on analytics. Almost every industry relies on analytics. You use statistics and you use information to make informed decisions. Of course you do. But what's also abundantly clear, which cannot be argued if the objective is to win the World Series, the Yankees' use of analytics is not good. It doesn't work. They have spreadsheets and modes and thoughts and approaches and ideas and whatever. And whatever those thoughts are, whatever those formulas are, whatever those standards they're using are, they are not resulting in the Yankees winning a World Series. Again, that's abundantly clear. So if the objective is for the Yankees to win the World Series, let's put up the Start Spreading the News logo real fast so you can find us online. If the objective is for the Yankees to win the World Series, their analytic approach is failing. Complete stop. You cannot argue that fact. It is abundantly clear based on the fact that the Yankees don't win the World Series. So if the Yankees' objective is to win the World Series, you keep Brian Cashman as the GM, but you tell him he's got to do it a whole different way. That's one option. You move Brian Cashman to a different front office position where he's not having the day-to-day influence on the players and the decision-making and all the things that a GM would do. Or you move on from him. You say, Brian, you've been great. We're going to put you in Monument Park. Everybody moves on from jobs at some point. I don't know when it became this idea that if you move on from Brian Cashman, that somehow that's committing a giant crime. It's so unfair. He's been the GM for decades. Does he have a lifetime job? Is he a Supreme Court justice? A couple of weeks ago, someone wrote on Start Spreading the News, Branch Rickey was a pretty good GM. Yeah, he was. He was a great GM. He broke the color barrier. He did some great things. He was also fired numerous times. Numerous teams, including the Dodgers, got rid of Branch Rickey. Because that's what happens. Please tell me a general manager that has a lifetime job in any sport. They don't. George Washington stepped down as the president. I mean, it's just the idea that you can't possibly, how dare you say the Yankees should move on from Brian Cashman? That's so unfair. That's so unfair. Why? The man has made gazillions of dollars as the Yankees GM. He's had untold prestige. He's had the life almost every fan, at least the part of his life that has to do with running the Yankees, would give the right arm for or whatever. And eventually it becomes time to say, you know what? We have to go a different direction. It's not working if the objective is to win the World Series. And if the Yankees' objective isn't to win the World Series, well, then they're feeding their fans a lie when they say our objective is to win the World Series. I would rather the Yankees say our objective is not to win the World Series, and that's how we're going to approach it, than to tell me that is the only measure of success for the franchise and then have them fall short every single year since 2009 and make it only once since 2001 and tell me that that's really their objective when their objective, come on, let's be honest, really seems to be something else. The first thing the Yankees need to do this offseason is be honest and forthright with their fans. Our objective is X. But if they say the objective is to win the World Series, And they retained the current structure with Brian Cashman, the analytics team, and Aaron Boone as the manager who's never won a World Series. They can't be taken seriously. Then their words and the actions do not seem to jive. Their words and the actions seem to be going in different directions. If your goal is to win, you put people in charge who give you the best chance to win based upon their track records. And Brian Cashman's recent track record and Aaron Boone's complete track record is that they haven't won. So you can't go with the same model. You have to change things up. And that is where the Yankees are here in the middle of October, as the Dodgers, who operate as the Yankees used to, are on the cusp of heading to yet another World Series and possibly their third World Series championship just in this decade. And maybe their second in a row, the first team to repeat since the Yankees did in 1999 and 2000. All those years ago, when the general manager was Brian Cashman. It's been a long time, though, since he's been able to do that. The fact that he did it and he keeps the team competitive is enough reason to put him in Monument Park. But if the goal is to win the World Series, it's not a good reason to keep him and his leadership structure in its current format. All right, my friends. Well, that was fun. I haven't had a chance to talk to you in weeks, and now I did. This show, again, will air Saturday morning on all those networks at 7 a.m., and this very same show will air Monday night at 9 p.m., also on those very same networks, combining the Start Spreading the News podcast with the Dr. Sem Yankees Show for at least a few weeks, maybe a few months. Definitely by January, we'll be back to our programming as originally scheduled. All right, thank you for watching. This is always fun. It's just baseball, my friends. It's not life and death. There are many more important things than baseball. We get to vent our baseball feelings here, but in the end, look to the good, find the good, cherish the good, spread the good. Focus on what really matters in life, like kindness, friendship, hard work, relationships, love, faith, God, and all that kind of stuff. Focus on those things and you'll be happy. You can still be frustrated by the fact that your favorite sports teams are falling short or failing, but you keep it into perspective. It's just a game. It's just a hobby. It's just supposed to be fun. All right, my friends, have a great day, and I will see you again right here with this show next Saturday morning. Take care.